I was ready for it. I wanted to just take the world by storm because I really watched my parents do it.
How much better is it and how much more efficient is it now where you can DM somebody and they will automatically go to your profile, see everything?
Social media is a lottery ticket. It's a guaranteed lottery ticket because you have the resource at your hand. What if my business fails? And she said, but what if it flies? You know? And that was it.
I love that.
I knew it was her.
Welcome to the Creator Method podcast. As this goes on, I'm becoming more confident in this podcast. I'm more confident in doing it, which is part of a lesson that all content creators should take from this, is the fact that you get more comfortable as you continue. This type of long form, sit down conversational content in general is essential in content creation, depending on your subject matter, but definitely something you should take away. Today, we have Natalie Gee with us. Natalie, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So I want to jump into your bio, and I'm just going to read it. I'm going for it. So Natalie Gee is the co-founder of Gee Beauty, a multi-generational female-founded lifestyle beauty brand established in 2005 in Toronto and expanded to Miami in 2011. She has uniquely leveraged her own personal brand and the personal brands of her mother and sisters to build Gee Beauty into a recognized destination for modern, results-driven beauty. Today, Natalie balances entrepreneurship, content creation, and motherhood, using both her personal platform and her family's shared influence to grow the Gee Beauty brand and community worldwide. Natalie, welcome. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
you for having me.
It's, you know what? It's my absolute pleasure, and I'm so happy to have you here because you are such like an epitome of a content creator, entrepreneur, and you remind me like your work ethic and the way that you get this done. It reminds me a lot of how Valeria and I do it, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
Where, Valeria's in it, I have my role in it, our kids are, in it, and when they get older, they'll actually have their own accounts. I don't want to say leveraged, I don't think that's the correct word to talk about like your family members, but you've teamed up with all of your family members to grow your individual personal brands, which, I see and I follow online, and to then simultaneously grow your beauty brand. So,
Thank you.
Kudos to you. I feel very connected to you.
Oh my gosh. First of all, you just saying that made me really emotional because I grew up with two entrepreneurial parents. And so instead of playing with dolls, I was raised by two parents who came from absolutely nothing and taught us we watched our parents work so hard. We went into their businesses and followed them in their journeys.
You and your sisters.
Me and my sister at the time. So I have one sister who's quite close in age, and then I have another sister who's about 10 years younger.
I actually met her briefly.
You know Steph, yes.
Well, we met at Toronto Creator Method workshop.
Yes.
And I met her,
That's right. So Celine and I especially watched our parents work really hard, and we watched them as true entrepreneurs, and that set the tone and that really set the bar. And instead of, like I said, playing with dolls as kids, my dad especially would take us to museums and galleries, and he would really have these big conversations with us. What do your dreams look like? What are your visions? What do you see? And through art, he was an artist himself.
Okay.
Through art, and later on founded his own advertising agencies, was really able to talk about bigger things with Celine and I. And from the get-go, we had this incredible understanding about branding or brands or how something's brought to life through watching him literally on set, television commercials, and bringing an idea and creating a big concept. That was how we were raised.
You've been, sorry to interrupt you. No. So content has been,
it's been ingrained.
But this is pre-social, this is pre-internet. Not pre-internet,
this is the 80s and the 90s.
Right. So, but your father, he understood the value of content creation. So tell me a little bit more about his content creation.
My dad had many very successful advertising agencies.
Okay.
What his story is, he emigrated from the UK, so he is, English, an Englishman.
Okay.
And he emigrated, it was his dream to get to the United States. And in the 70s, he tried to get to the United States and he was rejected. And through that ended up in Toronto, the country that takes in, country that takes everyone in.
Exactly. I'm familiar,
right?
Just like me.
Multicultural, and I want to talk about that because we really had an incredible, experience in childhood with multicultural and culture in general.
Oh, you and I are going to dive into that.
Yeah,
because
it's really important, and that's the world.
I grew up in Canada,
exactly.
and I remember it very clearly. Yeah,
exactly. So he ended up in Toronto. and was working in an ad agency at the corner of Yonge and Rosedale. And my mom at the time was working in a tech company at the corner of Yonge and Roxborough, and he would see her through the window. And because he was so creative, he would paint or like draw these like billboards that, said, "Oh, you're so beautiful." And my mother sat at the window and he sat at the window. And so they met through the window at the corner of Yonge and Roxborough, and they started their incredible,
Oh, they met that way.
50-year relationship together. That's how they met.
Wow.
They had Celine and I very close in age. And so we really, like I said, we watched our parents go from nothing to starting very successful companies. My dad started, like I said, advertising agencies. He was creative. He was an art director. His vision as a kid, he was always drawing. My mother too was an artist and always drew. So we really would watch him. And at the time, art direction was you would draw the storyline and then you would produce that drawing. So there were markers everywhere. I mean, fine tip markers, tons of billboards. We would be like cutting things, on those like the scissors. It was incredible to watch.
Those things that,
like whatever that
like the
is.
guillotine or whatever.
Exactly. You know what it is.
I know what you're talking. Yeah, I remember.
And so Celine and I would walk around the agency, and then my mother, on the flip side of that, was always working in family business, but extremely entrepreneurial. So she worked with her brother in the fashion business. By the way, do you know Hershey Weinberg? Do you know that name?
Sounds really familiar.
Okay, so that's my uncle. So he's a big guy in the fashion industry. And so she was my mother wore every hat, from retailer to salesperson to wholesaler. And so again, we would go to work with our parents. That's what we did. I mean, all these activities that our kids are doing. And also my very first job was I was Madonna's accountant. So
Madonna, the artist?
So we would play dress up as kids instead of, again, playing with dolls, because I watched my parents in the entrepreneurial field. I would say to my other sister, we're not playing with dolls. We're going to play with toy cash registers.
Got it.
And we would count all of Madonna's money.
Got it.
And we were her accountant. So we were in charge of her entire business. And I take full credit for that.
Good for you.
So that's how we were raised. So when it came to where we saw ourselves as adults, I must say that I went to school, but it wasn't my passion. It wasn't where I thrived.
What did you study in school?
Working was where I thrived. Well, at the time I wanted to be a journalist because I liked I'm very practical. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a true Capricorn. And I'm extremely practical. I'm very results driven. Like I need to see the tactile money. I need to feel it.
Sure.
And so I wanted to be a journalist because I loved the idea of going somewhere, and I loved writing and documenting it. But school just wasn't for me. And with my first year of university into my second year of university, I decided that I was not going to go back to school. I had signed a lease, I had signed rent, I did everything. My parents made me pay out the entire year of rent, so I still had to be responsible for that year of rent. And I had to go to college. So if I was going to move back to Toronto, I'd had to go to day college or night college.
Where
I
was
was going to university in Montreal.
Okay.
And I had to go to day college and get a job. So what I did was...
How old are you this time?
How old are you in university? 19, 20?
19, 20, yeah.
And I was ready for it. I wanted to just take the world by storm because I really watched my parents do it. And I thought, of course, when you're that young, you can do it. You can do it just as well as they can. And you know just as much as they do.
Celine is
and
younger
I'm the
or
eldest.
older? You're the eldest.
I'm the eldest.
So Celine's a couple of years behind.
She's a couple years behind me, and then Steph came about 10 years later.
Sure.
So going back to sort of my early trajectory, I started working as a receptionist. So I really got those foundational fundamentals, how to answer the phone, how to greet people, how to create something. I also worked for a production company, so I handled all the legal work from getting producers across border. And that was really interesting too, because at the time you were cold calling.
Yeah.
And so I got really used to cold calling people too, which is also a lost art. Being able to pick up the phone and strike up a conversation with someone. And the ability to do that and sort of really be afraid of being afraid, but going for it anyway.
But let me ask you something.
Yeah.
How much better is it and how much more efficient is it now where you can DM somebody and they will automatically go to your profile, see everything?
Yes.
So tell me, first of all, tell me how much better of a response do you get? Because I'm trying to explain to people the value of social media as well.
I think that, yes, there is a huge value in having, what is incredible actually, it's a lottery ticket. Social media is a lottery ticket, that it's a guaranteed lottery ticket because you have the resource at your hand if you really think about it. You know, back then you had to well, go in person. Think about the time it took to make a cold call versus the time it takes to send a DM. I think what the art is, Gary, to that is how you approach someone on social and how do you create those relationships on social where you don't have that person-to-person contact, right?
Yeah, and this is what we talk about all the time, is that this is very much like what we're doing as creators is we are building out our networks, but we're doing it in a far more efficient way than pre-social media.
Completely.
And what this technology allows us to do by creating content, and that content algorithmically connects to the people who are most likely interested in it or who will enjoy it. So it's definitely the whole thing is on steroids. I mean, from what it used to be.
It's 100% on steroids. There's no going back. Right.
No.
So it's really about how you leverage what you have now and how you move it forward,
and how you
propel it forward. Exactly.
And that's the thing is when we talk about content creation, people to this day, the majority of people still believe that this is like a niche thing to be a content creator.
No.
It's not. And what I always say is that this is now the mainstream method by which all human beings are communicating. So it really is communication. It's human communication.
Exactly.
Versus like this niche, I do fashion or I do beauty. You are communicating at scale. And without it, you quite frankly will just get left behind. You'll be in a cohort that won't exist 5 years from now. The other thing that this allows you to do, and I just thought of this now, is it allows you to actually control the narrative, your own narrative as well.
1,000,000%.
And what I mean by that specifically is like someone can go and write a negative article about you or about me, and it could be found in a Google search, but then you also have the ability to publish content on, let's say, Instagram, for example, and people can go to your Instagram, they can look at your content. They can not only look at your content and derive their own opinion of you, but then they can also look at the comments to see what other people are saying about you. So it really does allow you to not only communicate at scale, but it allows you to control that narrative, and you're taking a lot of power back from the fact that anybody can post anything on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you do it right, social media is a wonderful place actually to really be like the best you. Because I think before you are a full-time content creator, you're like I'm a full-time Natalie Gee. And I try to apply that as a way to actually lessen the pressure when I think about all the things on my plate, and when I come at my content as just me, it actually produces the best content.
Absolutely.
Not like I have to create something because I am a founder or I've got all these people to manage or anything like that. When I just come at it sort of a bit more gentle on myself, I can create the content that is the most meaningful, that does resonate.
Your Instagram account, I think you're at about 68,000 followers on your personal, and then your business account, and then your sisters have varying levels of scale, on their accounts, and you've got over 220,000 followers on your on G Beauty, on the business account.
Right.
So, kind of, what came first? Was it your personal brand, or was it the business? Was it simultaneous? Talk to me about the origin of that.
Sure. I think for me, social media really came for a lot of people. I think pre-COVID, we've always had, first of all, G Beauty, we are a retail concept first. So we started our business in 2005 as a destination makeup, skincare, and facial studio. The entire concept behind G Beauty is you get your beauty routine the same way that you get your coffee, go to the gym. We made beauty every day, easy, accessible, and part of your lifestyle. This was no longer special occasion driven.
Sure.
This was about you get your brows in, and really at the time, I mean, when we started in Toronto in 2005, there was department stores and there was traditional day spas. And then when we moved to Miami and opened up a second flagship in Miami, same thing, there was very little. And when we even came to Sunset Harbor in 2015, there was nothing around. So the G Beauty Instagram, of course, was started as the original concept. I was, and I still am, very much a part of our, I actually also do eyebrow services. So like you'll find me in the studio like shaping eyebrows, doing threading, and I love the connection I have with clients. So I'm always in studio. And I was very trepidatious about going online. I just thought I was going to be a service provider.
Yeah.
And when it came to creating content.
What year was this that you went online?
This was 2019. 2020 hit.
Sorry, you've only been creating content for 6 years. You as a personal brand.
Me as a personal brand. I will tell you that if I do go back, because I love to remind myself where I came from. I think it's really important to look back for some things. I could not look at the camera. I could not look at myself. I remember doing these tutorials. It was 2020, and I would be showing everyone how to do their makeup, and I could not look straight forward. I could not look in my own face. I was so scared. And every day would show up, and really that's how my strategy and my audience grew, was really during that time. And I have been doing it ever since. I will say what I've learned so much through Creator Method, even in the short time that I've been there, is the power of consistency and what that means throughout every aspect of your life. And while I still work on that every single day, the consistency angle, that messaging is totally ingrained in my head, because I think you and your team do a phenomenal job of reiterating that message. And it's so interesting how it's like the simplest things are the most powerful things, but we forget them because we we overcomplicate.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to overcomplicate too. Like I'm just as good as I am not so good, right? Like no one's better than anyone else.
Absolutely.
But you really deliver that message really well, and in a very nice way too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
No, listen, sometimes we have to take a bit of I don't want to say a hard line, but I'm just, I always talk about it just inside of our company. I have this line everybody knows me for internally, is like, I'm a fan of reality.
Yeah.
And we can avoid it all we want, and we can just, we can have our hopes and we can have our feelings, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you don't have a certain level of consistency, and I'm never telling people, and I'm never kind of promoting overexerting yourself to the point where it's breaking you constantly.
Of course.
You have to decide if you have, let's say, a full-time job, or if you have a family, whatever it is that you are able to do, you should commit to it and make sure you don't deprioritize it. And so if you want the results, I talk to people who, they'll start, and let's say, I'll do a consultation with them, and then 3 months later, they'll come back and they'll say, I haven't grown, I don't know what's going on. And then I look to the number at the left of their follower count, which is number of posts, and I'll look at my notes and I'll say, you're only posting once a week or twice a week. I mean, there's a certain minimum that you have to do.
Yeah. The one thing I've learned truly, being however you like to refer to your business size, small business, medium business, but I think an in-control business owner, not a corporate business, is that the ability to reroute is so important. The ability to be flexible.
And reprioritize.
Exactly, to all your options, reprioritize. But when you do it from a meaningful place, and you do it from like an intuitive, spiritual place, your business will flourish. And I've recently really, I would say the 5G people, because it's now, G Beauty is now founded by, when my dad sold his advertising agencies, we brought him into the business to focus on new business.
So you work with your dad? Your dad's in this business?
I work with my entire family. So
your dad's in this too?
My dad is, Mr. G is a part of the business. So he's been a part of the business since, I think, post-COVID, I believe, like 2021.
So how about your mom? Your mom, yes. Your mom, yes. She's part of it.
She's the spear.
So your mom, your dad.
So my mother and I started the business actually together. Her and I were co-founders, and she will say this too, we are business partners 50%. And even at the time too, for, my mother to help, I have signing on everything. I mean, what she did, what my mother did for her girls and what she continues to do, I'm always in such awe. There's
the three of you.
There's three. So 3 daughters, a mother, a father. And my dad's biggest dream was to get to the U.S. And so what happened is that
yes, I want to dive into this. We went to
Bell Harbor Shops. So we grew up coming to Florida because my dad could golf and he could just set, my mom and 3 girls off at the beach, and that was it. And of course, at the time, Bell Harbor Shops was, and still is, one of the greatest destinations in the world. And we would always go in there. So when we wanted a U.S. outpost, because my dad was like, the only place to be is the U.S., to basically live out his dream, we gave the Whitman family a call, and they said, we really don't lease to anyone that's not generating over $1 million a year. Call us when you're there. And this was very early on in the business. I think.
So you were looking for a location?
We were looking for a location.
Oh, the Whitmans, you're
in
talking
Bell
about Bell Harbor.
Shops. Oh yeah, we would visit Bell Harbor. So we got to
Oh wow, you wanted Bell Harbor Shops. Wow, okay.
One of Bell Harbor Shops. About a year later, we get a call from the Whitman family. We're in Toronto. We're coming by. So they came by. They were a part of the hustle and bustle of G Beauty in 2007. I mean, there were lineups out the door. I saw 60 clients a day. I mean, it was just a different time. People worked like 10 hours, no lunch. I mean, it was a very different time back then. And they offered us a lease. We had to make a decision within 48 hours. And 11 months later, we were open in Bell Harbor shops.
Wow.
So it was an incredible opportunity. We got our visas and we were ready to go. And
You got your visas as a result of...
we got our visas as a result of that.
Well, yeah, because you set up a
We
corporation
had to. Yeah,
in the
we set up a
States.
corporation,
And,
exactly. So I'm very comfortable with the whole visa process. And what was so amazing about that was that coming from a different country, we thought that Miami, Floridians would move like Torontonians, AKA New Yorkers.
Mm-hmm.
And, people would come in. We thought, okay, we'd have a facial at 9 o'clock. People would be there at 9 o'clock. And what was so amazing is that Florida, Miami is a very global destination. So you have people from all over the world. Different than it being multicultural, you have a global population of people. So I remember our first client, she came at 5 o'clock for her 9 o'clock facial. And she was, I'm here for my facial. So right then it was the best lesson in the flexibility, the openness. And you know what? As long as you serve people and you serve them well, they will come back to you.
Well, you're also, I want to call it kind of what I think it is, and maybe I'm wrong. You were in Bell Harbor.
We were in Bell Harbor. Service was, yeah.
Well, you're just in a place where, I would say that the average income is probably in the top 0.1 percentile in the United States.
Yeah, we wanted to serve.
Right. But I'm saying somebody who has an appointment at 9 a.m. is coming in at 5 p.m. thinking this is completely normal.
I'll tell you what we did do is that we were so we're so thankful. And I still am. I'm such a thankful Canadian to be here in the U.S. We were so thankful. We were so nice. Everybody would say, "Oh, those girls, they're so nice." And we built it in this incredible business in Bell Harbor shops for 5 years. It was amazing. They introduced us to the best people.
Amazing.
They treated us like family, and we're still so close to them now. We developed such great relationships with them. Unfortunately, when you're a part of a big conglomerate in a mall, they want to move you around, and we weren't ready for that. We wanted to get back to our neighborhood roots. And in Toronto, we're part of a neighborhood, we're part of a community, and we really knew that Miami could give us that, and which is why we moved from Bell Harbor to Sunset Harbor. Mm-hmm. And in Sunset Harbor, you have the berries, you had, it was Icebox, it was berries, it was very limited and very small.
I should introduce you to, do you know Derek from Berries?
Of course, he's
okay.
like, yeah.
Hey, so Derek's a good friend of ours.
Yes, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Derek was one of my first friends here in Miami.
Oh, wonderful.
And I'd go to Berries and I'd work out, and I started taking this instructor, Rachel's class, and she became my wife, and that's how we met.
I want to talk about that, but before we get to that, I want to talk about, because you started talking to me about the transition from Canada to the U.S. and kind of, with your specific circumstances and kind of culturally and socially. Talk to me about that.
Canadians, I cannot say enough good things about Canadians. We are smart. We are sophisticated. We're knowledgeable. We have great we have appreciation, again, for multicultural, I think is so important.
Yeah.
Toronto, Chinatown, Little Italy, Koreatown, we have everything.
It's interesting because when I first moved here, people would say, do you like how multicultural Miami is? And I'm just like, Canada's way more multicultural.
Way more multicultural.
Way more. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about politics, but just the appreciation we had.
When you say you don't want to talk about politics, you can talk about whatever you want.
Okay, as a gay person, I was used to being in very open relationships, or I wanted a very open relationships, because I also have a story about that too. But
sorry, by open, do you mean public?
Just being gay, just being gay. Canada, you can be and whoever you want to be, and so I was brought up with that, and my parents were very open to that, and they were very accepting. And so you come to the U.S., and in Florida, you realize that there's different rules for different places.
Okay.
So as a Canadian, I was open-eyed, I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And again, we were like the nice people. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We would
we're Canadian.
Excuse me, exactly, we're Canadian.
Yeah.
So I'm so appreciative of that. And I think that, you could talk to somebody even about politics at the time and have a conversation. It wasn't so one way or another way,
It's a lot more polarized now.
Exactly. It's a lot more polarized right now, but I really enjoyed the way that we were raised as Canadians, just that we were very accepting and that you could have a conversation. It was very intellectual. And that was really attractive to me. So when I came to the US, what I wasn't, which was what I love about being here, was that, oh man, you've got to be really tough here. And you've got to really put your big girl pants on, and you've got to really be able to make decisions. And you're playing in the big field. You're playing in the big leagues.
Absolutely.
And I love that, because I think I was meant to play in the big leagues. And being here taught me that really quick. So I had the best of both worlds, really.
With G Beauty, with your brand growing and your personal brand, and I'm still a little unclear, what came first?
G Beauty came first.
Clearly
Yes.
came first.
G Beauty came
So
first.
G Beauty came first, and you were marketing G Beauty probably through traditional means.
Yeah.
And then when did G Beauty Instagram happen? What did that happen at the same time
Yes,
as Natalie
no,
Gee?
I can't recall exactly. G Beauty, the concept came first, of course.
That I understand,
right?
but I'm saying
G
when
Beauty,
did-
the Instagram
Yes.
came first. But I will say this, G Beauty, the Instagram came first from at the time, it was flat lays and it was product or flat lay focused or
Understood.
photo focused. What I did with my content is that I grew my concept and why people come to me through tutorial. So what I did
your tutorial.
through my tutorial. So what I would do is our concept at G Beauty has never been about doing your makeup. It's always been about teaching you how to do your own makeup. And that's been really important because at the end of the day, you are our advertising when you leave G Beauty. So it's not about what we can do, it's about what you can do as a customer, as a client. We also we refer to our customers as our clients because it's more intimate. And so what I did was I would go online, and I still do, and I show women how to do their makeup. I always say, do not come to me I will not do your makeup. I will show you how to do your makeup because I want my clients to feel, and everyone who passes into G Beauty, I want them to feel empowered.
So that was your content concept?
And that was the content concept, exactly.
But that originated on Natalie Gee.
That was me. That was Nat G Beauty.
Instagram,
So
Nat G.
Nat G Beauty is my handle. And I've got my highlights, like going back, you can see I would, get up every day in my bedroom, and I still film from my bedroom occasionally. And I go through with you how to do your makeup. I show you techniques. And I think the difference between us and everyone else is that we make makeup feel very easy. It's everyday makeup.
Yeah.
And I think that we've created a verbiage and a language that has never been, I'm never talking at you, I'm talking with you. Because as a multi-generational business, my mother's in her 70s, I'm in my 40s, Steph's in her 30s, Celine, same thing. We recognize that you're coming to us at all different stages of your life, and how you take in the information, you should be able to do your makeup how you want to do it best, where you are. So we meet you where you are. We always say that. We meet you where you are. And so my content was really always about educating and showing, and that's really what I do. And I do it in a way that feels very natural to me.
So at some point, sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Some point, I mean, you were saying that G Beauty was a lot of flat lays, and so you were featuring it was product.
Yeah.
And then when did you? I'm trying to make a connection between because you have over 200,000 followers there. So when did you start seeing meaningful growth in terms of audience there? Was it when you started personally? Because I noticed that you collaborate. Your personal brand on Instagram collaborates with your business brand through the collaboration tool, and your sisters do the same thing.
Yep.
And so did that growth start happening? Did it coincide when you started doing that and really transferring your kind of organic social content in addition to the flat lays? I think
everything started really happening. So the trajectory of G Beauty, we have 2 flagship studios, one in Toronto and one in Florida. We also have a makeup brand, a namesake makeup brand called G Beauty.
Yes.
We had our e-commerce. We really launched e-com in a very strong way in 2019.
Direct to consumer.
Direct to consumer e-com. And then we also have a wholesale chapter. So you can find G Beauty makeup at Neiman Marcus, at Nordstrom.
Beautiful.
And some incredible retailers.
So I have a question about that.
Yes.
Sorry, I have a question. Getting that retail distribution is not a simple thing.
No.
That really depends on the retailers.
Yep.
Do you feel the retailers acknowledged and or prioritized you because of your social media footprint?
Okay, so going back to relationships, it's all connected, Gary. I have to be honest with you, is that the social media really took off when we started to form concepts around what we wanted on G Beauty and what we wanted on Nat G Beauty, and then the other founders as well.
Yeah.
Also at G Beauty, I will say that we retail and edit of the world's best skincare, and we've maintained incredible relationships with those retailers. And some of those founders have helped us tremendously with introductions. And I have seen firsthand what it means to support your friends in business, just as you said.
Yeah.
And those are the people that helped us really open doors for, let's say, bigger retailers, because we have helped I mean, we launched Le Labo in Canada, Barbara Sturm in Canada, Tata Harper in Canada, some incredible brands in Canada. So we've really watched what a relationship can do in person and online grow. From a content perspective, my content was always, and it always is focused on the customer. My content is really all about how I can best empower the consumer that is purchasing G Beauty. And I love to stay there because I think it is so important to create connection all the time, whether you're doing it in person or online. So that's my, strong suit and what I really focus on all the time. And it's funny when you guys talk about acquiring the new eyeballs, that's a challenge for me because my love and passion is about who already is there. So what happened was once the business started to sort of third party, it started to get more omni, was when we built a social team.
By more omni, just so everybody understands, it's when the marketing, when the attention started coming in from different channels,
exactly.
not just a single one.
So we had business coming in from our studios, business coming in from e-com, direct to consumer.
And the business is you're talking about the product sales.
Product
right
sales,
now.
yep. And then we had business coming in from wholesale. We built a social team, which is how the brand of the G Beauty Instagram really took off. So you'll see more curated content there.
Yeah.
When people hear about G Beauty, they are more likely to go to G Beauty first than they are to go to Nat G Beauty.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
so
let me ask you something.
Followers.
Are you? I think I know the answer to this, but you do UGC as well. Like you have.
We are working. It's interesting. UGC is an interesting concept for us. We are working on that. Currently. Looking for. We just signed up with ShopMy, like affiliate marketing, which is
so you should talk to Rachel Ostra, who's our CEO, who I know you know.
Yeah.
Because in New York, we had the VP of ShopMy sharing a stage with Rachel talking about monetization. And I know that we have a direct relationship and a direct link with them.
Great. Oh.
So if you need any help.
ShopMy is amazing.
They're great.
It's been incredible.
That's on the affiliate side for you.
That's on the affiliate side.
If I may make a suggestion, I want to get into tactical in just a bit. There's something else, a couple of other things. But the suggestion I want to make is that with Creator Method, one of the things that we're going to, again, now that Rosemary, our VP of Ops, she's going to be really helping formalize these things. Cool. You should really be reaching out to the community.
Yeah.
And this podcast is going to help because now they're likely going to be messaging you through Slack.
I would love that.
But from a UGC perspective, getting them into your location or remotely and doing tutorials and potentially doing lives and creating content with them, because you'll be, and you may already know this, but you'll be so pleasantly surprised that people with varying levels of scale in terms of they may have 3,000, 4,000 followers. You'll be shocked at the conversion.
I agree.
Like how much they will help tell your story, especially when you take their content and they tag you as collaborator and you accept the collab tag and it lives on. It's incredible. So tap into the community. You have a direct line into them.
I will, and thank you for that.
I have a question. You started talking about something I want to dive a little more into. About how you met Rachel.
Yes.
Tell me how you met Rachel.
So, listen, it was interesting. I was not out. I knew who I was.
Yeah.
For a long, long, long time.
What year was this? Did you meet her?
I met Rachel in 2014.
Okay. You guys been together for a while.
We've been together for a while. And so what happened is that we became, Selena, my sister and I, we started working out at Flywheel. So we started going down to Sunset Harbor. Again, we had been here since 2011. So we were getting into the neighborhoods and we started at Flywheel and Barry's had just put their sign up. And I was definitely going through something in my life because there was a big part of me that was so hidden. And my sister would always say, really didn't talk to a lot of people at the time. I couldn't share my story with a lot of people. I was always very afraid of coming out and what that would do for my business. And
really? It was more of a business concern?
This was a business concern.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, this was a business concern. So I was front-facing.
Fair.
I was telling a story to people, and she would say to me, now, I have a feeling when Barry's opens, your life is going to change. I just think, again, going back to my Capricorn.
She knew.
My sister knew. Your
sister knew,
absolutely. Yeah. Very few people knew. But I was a weightlifter. I needed that. I need to get my aggression out. That's just I love weights. And she would say to me, I have a feeling your life is going to change. So we were at Barry's every single day. And I would take Derek's classes every single day.
Yeah.
And Derek, James, Selena, and I were best friends. I knew Derek. Actually, Rachel introduced Annabelle and Derek. That's just how close we all were.
Our kids go to the same. Derek and Annabelle were just at our house a couple of days ago.
I saw. So Rachel would sub some of Derek's classes because Rachel would teach 7:10. I only took 9:30. And Rachel and I became like very friendly. And I just thought, you know what? We had a few interactions and, you know, I don't know, I thought she was trying to set me up at one time with her best friend. It was like a whole thing. Anyway, Rachel and I, we exchanged numbers, we went out. And I remember on our first lunch date, this was after we took a Barry's class, of course. And we went for lunch afterwards, and I was telling her a little bit about my story, and I wasn't even out to her. And I just said, you know, like, what if my business fails? And she said, but what if it flies, you know? And that was it. I love that. I knew it was her. And 3 weeks later, I went home to Toronto. I told my parents, and they were amazing. They were absolutely amazing. And I moved in a week later with Rachel.
Wow.
And we've been together ever since, and we have 3 beautiful kids. And
girls?
Rachel had a pregnancy, she carried her twin boys.
Uh-huh.
And then I had a pregnancy 14 months later with our daughter. So
Amazing.
we have triplets. And that's it. I mean, I feel very grateful for her. And so with Rachel, I came out, which was a very big deal for me because I think for me, I needed to do it with her. I needed Rachel to help me do that, and she was that person. And this is not to take away from any other relationship that was that was meaningful at the time.
Sure.
But Rachel was everything. She still is everything for me, and we complement each other really well. And going back to my upbringing, Rachel and I we also work out of our home, so our kids see that spirit. They see us online. My kids are very much a part of our online presence. Rachel has a fitness platform called Rachel Fitness.
Yes.
And
Rachel has meaningful scale as well. She's in the hundreds of thousands of followers.
Not only is Rachel meaningful scale, but she's a reality television star. So she is like, get in front of the camera, Natalie, ASAP.
Uh-huh.
She is like pushing me. She's always supporting me.
Yeah.
She's always, her biggest thing is say yes. Say yes. Say yes until you have to say no. Take every opportunity. Money comes so easily to her because she doesn't operate like chasing it.
Right.
And it's incredible. Like, she just operates at an extremely lovely level.
You know, I know you already know this, but I want to point out to everybody else the importance of having a partner who is so on board with your career. In general, but specifically as, you know, from a content creation perspective, you happen to have even like, you know, you're double blessed because she's also a creator.
Yeah.
So she's also very much, you know, when Valeria started, I obviously wasn't the creator.
Right.
She started, I was just supportive because I love my wife and I
course.
believe in her. And so to have that level of support, you'll find that in a lot of relationships, the partner, especially with men, this is such a foreign world to them, the whole world of content creation, and especially if it's like fashion or beauty or lifestyle, they don't know. And within Creator Method too, we've had like actual calls where I've told partners, like primarily men, I want you guys to come and I've had that call before you joined. I had that call, and we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
But they don't know. So
Sure.
I have to explain to them what the opportunity is, what the benefit is to quite frankly, their relationship.
Yeah.
Because when you have a fulfilled partner, you know, your whole life changes, right?
I mean,
you guys are living
that. You know, Rachel and I, we talk about our foundation so much. Like, for me and her, everything happens in the home. And
Right.
I always say, like, if we're not, it's us first, it's our foundation. So it's in our home. It's the energy in our home. It's the energy of our language. And look, we are completely human. I mean, we get into argument. We do the whole thing. We're just like anyone else. But I think that what you have to do is, like you said, for sure, is that the couple has to be, you know, on board about the opportunity. Like, that's such a good word, and how you really represent. It's the opportunity of what can be.
But I want to define what the opportunity is, because I think to a lot of the people who are watching this, whether they're members or not members, we talk about, so many people talk about content creation as a biz op.
Yeah.
As like this is a business opportunity and you can grow your wealth and whatnot. Yes. I mean, absolutely.
Hopefully.
Well, hopefully. I believe anybody can do it. And I believe it's completely possible. But most people don't know, or they don't see it when it happens in front of them, of what the effect it has on your life outside of money. Like, we have access, and I'm sure you do too, to opportunities that you can't even pay for. Like, we get invited to things and we meet people through this, call it a business, but it's no longer like calling it a business doesn't do it justice. like through this lifestyle,
Yeah.
the opportunities we get, what our children are able to see and experience, what we're able to see and experience, it's absolutely incredible. Like the travel, the invitations, the people, the conversations, it's such a fulfilling thing. And then on top of that, we're making money. It's just, I guess I'm trying to sell content creation to people as something that is just such a holistic factor in overall happiness.
I couldn't agree more. I think that it really comes down to ultimately loving where you're at.
Yeah.
And being very grateful for what you have outside of like wanting it all. I think you're right, Gary. Like looking at anything as just a business opportunity is limiting.
Yeah.
Because something will happen where you're going to get that opportunity, and it's up to you to decide how fulfilling you want to make that. So I agree with you. You know, we brought our kids the other day to Style Saves. Do you know Style Saves?
Valeria
Yeah.
was there with Jake and our
exactly.
young
That's
Max.
right. So
yeah.
I mean, the opportunity that we had, so we were able to take our kids for like a pre-event to the Museum of Ice Cream. Like being able to even at that level, take your kids to explain why you're there. You know, it's not just about being somewhere that no one else is at. It's about why you're there and why you're doing things. And when you come at it, like, you know, through the why and that with that appreciation, I mean, it's absolutely incredible, you know, being able to help kids, you know, and volunteer in that way, you know, because your mom knows someone through someone. That's an amazing thing to learn why you're doing that, you know?
Absolutely.
And recognizing that is, I think, super important.
For sure.
So you're right.
You know, so many creators, especially at the earlier stages, complain about how hard this is.
Yeah.
But then my response to that is, why should this be easy? Why should something that gives you this, the ability to earn a meaningful amount of money, that gives you unlimited education, that is a path to incredible self-improvement, that allows you for experiences that money can't even buy, why should it be easy?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like, why? You know what's harder? You know what's harder than this is once you get it, to maintain it.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what's even harder than that? What's even harder than that is not getting it all and having to settle for mediocrity that you don't want to be a part of.
You probably, I'm not around, right now, I'm not around a lot of complainers. I will probably have very little patience for a true complainer.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. That's all I have to say. I mean, even in my business, like we work so much on like training and education. I mean, I'm a like results driven person before the problem. And that's how we sort of train and motivate our entire team. So I honestly, like I would have a very short fuse for a complainer. And like I said, like I give it all to you because I agree.
But I understand, because I used to be, earlier in my life, I was like that too, because I understand, you know, there comes a time when you understand that the buck stops with you. But until that happens, yeah, you're going to deflect and you're going to kind of blame your surroundings and you're going to complain. I always tell my kids when they complain, because they're kids, when they complain, I say to them, I look at them, I go, what are you complaining for? Oh, it's hard. I said, do you think anything will change? If you complain right now, will something change? And they're like, no. I said, what's going to happen? Like, how do you make a change so that your situation improves? Do something about it. So do something about it. Why are you wasting your time complaining?
Your kids are older, probably, where they're aware of it more. You know, I think, yes, you're right. I have my kids that complain too.
How old are yours?
My kids are 7. The boys are 7, and my daughter's like 6. She's 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think empathy, hearing someone out is really important, and then showing by example. But yeah, to some respect, everything is hard until you get to the next challenge, and that's hard. I mean, I think probably the way I look at it is, you know, opportunity challenge, goal set, and, you know, you hit the goal and then you're on to something else.
I want to talk about your content. I want to talk about, I guess, where are you at in terms of your progress, and what blockers do you feel you have?
Okay. So for me, keeping it, when I think about my content and I think about all the things that I do in my day, I don't look at myself as a full-time content creator. If I did that, I think I would get too overwhelmed in the pressure of creating content. I think what is natural and what's fun for me to do. Certainly doing tutorials, makeup is really fun for me to do. And it's interesting, while my comments are low, my saves are really high. You know, so hundreds of people will save the pieces of content that
What do you talk about while you're doing the tutorial?
I keep it focused on, and I want to get better at this too, which is interesting. I keep it focused on what I'm doing. So I talk through what I'm doing, placement. It's more technical approach to what I'm doing.
That's why you're not getting that many comments.
Right. So I'm not like, it's hard for me. I can't, I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I can't talk about like a world event while I'm doing my makeup, but I want to work on that.
Yeah.
So that's the first piece of content. And then the second piece of content is personal style. So I get a lot of of comments on fashion, personal style. And that is another. So those are the two core pieces of content. I was in Bell Harbor Shops on Saturday night, and I was like with the kids, and I'm like, Rachel, just take out your phone. So I'm like, Gary is gonna I'm going to the podcast, and I'm like, just do it, situational, et cetera.
Yeah. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna bring it up as you're talking about it.
So, and it does like so well for me. For me, getting 25,000 views is a lot for me, and I'm very grateful for that. But I'm like, oh, Natalie, do more family. Do more family. But that, people like to see it. I think for Rachel and I, we're a dynamic couple. We've made two women. We're public, two women.
You're a cool couple.
Yeah, we're a cool couple.
Not because you're both women, but because you're just cool.
We live a very heterosexual life, Gary.
Sorry, it's friends. I apologize.
No, of course, the sound. And so I think people are intrigued by that. We're both strong women. I wouldn't call us like alpha or anything like that. Rachel and I don't have roles at all. We really co-manage everything in our life together. We come at it so equally. Of course, she has strengths and I have strengths, and we trust each other so much. But people love our relationship. Honestly, I wish I showed more, but I'm just like also nervous too.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it. So first of all, I want to tell you a few things. I agree with you that it's a heterosexual world.
Yeah.
I do agree. But to me, that for your content, that's a positive because you're showing. But you're showing a world that a lot of people I think are just intrigued by, and I think it's interesting. Yeah. So that's one thing. So to me, I think it's an advantage. Mm-hmm. So I hope you never thought it was a disadvantage because it's not.
No. Yeah.
Good. I haven't had a chance to look into your frequency of posting, but what would you call it about? Like how many posts a week are you doing?
When I'm good, it's two posts a day. So it's at least one to two. Yeah,
So a couple of things. I think you need to, I wouldn't say necessarily increase your volume, but I think it's easier than you believe it to be.
Okay.
Because just as this is my wheelhouse. So I love talking about this stuff. Just like when you pulled out that camera yesterday and you had the situational content awareness, and that was about a 4x views than your average views per reel.
Completely.
Right. So you and I talked as soon as I walked in the room, and we talked about this video that I did yesterday when Valeria was fitting me, and she gave me this like shirt to wear, and there was something that looked like a penis on it.
Yeah.
This design, it wasn't an actual penis, but my point is like I pulled out, like I had the camera on, I pulled the camera out, and I recorded that, and it has like quadruple the amount of views that I usually get within 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And it's probably going to go to like 10x the amount of my average views. I had a situation where, and I want to tie this back to you. I call it my cold plunge because Valeria doesn't go into it, but I was in my cold plunge and Valeria walked out to ask me a fashion question, and I just turned on the camera, and where I have it on mine, it has 15 million views. It gained me like 10,000 followers.
The heels, the Manolos.
The heels, right. Yeah. And Valeria put it up on hers separately, not through collaboration, separately. She's at 47 million views. It's getting 2 to 3 million views a month.
I know.
Right. So my point is that situational content awareness, and now what I do, not all of it hits, but all of it for whatever reason performs above average. Yeah. And you don't
utilize that. Leverage.
If you don't leverage it, but what I'm saying is when people talk about, they look at this absolute number of three reels a day, and they get overwhelmed. But if you're situationally content aware in your day-to-day life, and especially with you, with all of this amazing stuff you've got going on, and even the thing where you're just like, I was in my cold plunge the other day, and I had a thought about content creation. I was just like, hey guys, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I had the surrounding of me in a case of ice, right? So to me, it's like having that, you can increase your volume right away. But not only what it does is in terms of it, like not only is the benefit that it increases your volume and it creates just more reach and more views, but it also is, it contextually, it really helps to push your personal brand forward. And it's really a top of funnel for your business, because as the customer journey from your personal brand and then filtered into G Beauty, the business, it's just whatever you're doing now. I don't want you to sleep on this too much, because it's there. It almost sounds ridiculous. Like pulling out your phone and recording a funny conversation you're having with your partner or something. Right. But my point is it feels like such a trivial action, but
It's not.
But that trivial action in aggregate over time, it might 10x your business.
No, I
Imagine
agree.
your current business at 10x
Yeah.
from doing these silly videos.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you at all. And I think it's another reason to be a part of the method. It's just to
Absolutely.
have those reminders.
Just,
like,
that reminder.
You bet. I'm going to leave here and
Just
call Rachel.
don't necessarily try to manufacture it.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Like, don't go like, hey,
no.
let's go for lunch
Yeah.
and see if something funny happens.
No.
Literally just keep your,
just keep your
when you're
phone
walking
on.
around, is your phone in your bag or is it in your hand?
No,
Yeah,
never
mine's in my hand.
Yes, of course.
I walk with my phone
Yes.
in my hand.
Of course.
I'm a weirdo that way. But so that's one thing is just have that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And the other great thing, and you might think it's an invasion of privacy, but it's not. Film your partner when she doesn't know you're filming, and have her film you when
Yeah.
she doesn't know, because you have trust with your partner.
Yes.
Meaning that if she's filming something and
Okay.
it turns out that, whoa, no, it's deleted automatically. I was sitting at my desk at home, and I have a window out to our driveway. Valeria pulled up, and she was sitting in her car for a long period of time.
What women do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So she was sitting in her car, and I noticed that I started filming, like, what's Valeria doing sitting in her car? Why is she in her car? And then eventually she got out, and I made a comment like, okay, guys, she's coming. Look busy.
Yeah.
And that video hit too.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all of these things. So tell your partner, feel free to film me when you want.
Rachel,
and she's a creator as well. So
Oh
she
my
has
God,
this, she has this muscle developed.
Exactly. Yeah, no,
Okay,
absolutely.
so that's one thing. I also want to talk about your other formats. So when you talk about your fashion, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
great. Look, we built Valeria's personal brand, her outfit of the days, and her outfit of the days. If you've seen them, they're sometimes she talks about the fashion. She's talking about whatever the hell's on her mind.
I know. I do see that.
She's talking about, those aren't scripted.
I know.
Those are literally like, she'll have a conversation with me and she'll be intrigued by something in our conversation, or she'll talk to her friend or her mom, or she'll have a conversation with the kids. And she's like, I'm getting dressed either way. And the thing is that if I had to guess, just talking to you, your outfits are probably intentional at least 6 days a week. Maybe you take a day off when you're in sweats, but even your
those
sweats
I make
are
though, yes.
right. So you literally have 7 outfit a days.
Yeah.
So I give this advice a lot, where I'm just like, get a ring light, get an Octobuddy, have it marked on your mirror. You know, the suction cup thing.
Trust me. Yeah.
Throw that in your closet.
Yeah.
Get your lighting down. It's a $20 ring light or whatever, that string light. And when you're putting yourself together, just be like, hey, like you know what I mean?
You know
like,
what's so funny? Our kids are going to grow up like looking like our homes are going to look like studios everywhere they go. I'm actually curious, Gary, your POV on kids and social media and technology and all of that, because you guys are at the forefront. Like, how do you manage? I mean, even as a parent, like as a creator too, as a parent, how do you then, like, what's this next frontier? And you know, what does that look like? Like that.
Yeah. So it's a challenge.
Yeah.
My son came to me the other day, our 12-year-old, and he hasn't had his iPad got revoked about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Because we simply couldn't control it.
I get it.
And he said, listen,
Get it.
he has his computer,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a good idea of what he does, but I still can't be there all the time.
No.
And he said to me, can I have my iPad back? I said, why? And he said, there's a certain there's these certain edits that I want to do for this content that I'm working on, and I can't do it on the desktop. It's just, it works better. There's like an app that's native to iPad,
Okay.
and I want to do it there.
Okay.
And I said to him, son, the problem with that is that if I give you that, I'm scared to lose you. I'm scared that you're going to go into your room and you're never going to come out, and you're going to have this iPad. And he said, that was a year and a half ago. I have a lot more self-control now.
Okay.
So I guess in general, I understand that it's a double-edged sword. Mm-hmm. It's got its pros, it's got its cons. Mm-hmm. I believe that the benefits of technology, social media, AI, and all of that far outweigh the negatives. And I believe that, you know, with kids, it's working on their core values.
Yeah, I agree.
I believe that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Shielding them from the world, shielding them from all of this technology, I don't necessarily think that's the solution.
I agree.
It's building their self-confidence.
Rachel and I agree with that.
Yeah, it's building their self-confidence, educating them.
I love that.
Telling them, you know what, something as simple as, it's really sad, but there are kids who unfortunately, like, they committed suicide because there were these like trolls who asked them for like pictures of their private parts. I don't know if you heard about this. Then they circulated it at their school, and there's been incidences where children. So like, I'll hear that and I'll tell my kids, I'll tell them, like, when they were 8 or 9 years old, I said, like, and I'll just open. This is something that happened.
You have to have those conversations.
Yeah, like don't ever think. And my kids are like, Papa, no,
I agree. Rachel and I, that's why we always say like, it's us first. It's our conversations first, really coming together. But we have a very similar approach to you, like build your child and then your child builds something else. And we're in front of it. So we don't want to be hypocritical. Oh, well, your kids are looking at you. They're going to come into the challenge no matter what. But it's how they communicate that and how they then behave after that.
I think it's a net positive. I think,
but you're right. It's a net positive.
AI, social tech, it's all a net positive.
Yeah.
They're navigating a different world than we did when we were their age, but the previous generation navigated a different world too.
Yeah, and it doesn't exist anymore. Exactly.
It doesn't exist anymore. But let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I want to go back to your content for a second. Those people that you follow, do you solely follow them for the information that they're giving you, for this clinical scientific information, or do you feel attached to them in any other way?
It's funny. No, it's a full circle approach, right? It's the clinical, it's the technical, it's the lifestyle, it's everything,
Right.
and it's yes.
But if you didn't like them as people, or if you weren't connected to them,
not, no.
then you would likely not take their advice as much. So
Yes.
why I'm trying to frame it to you
Okay.
that I'd like for you to, when we talk about your content development, when you're developing your relationship with your audience, you will have a certain amount of followers and you will build a certain type of community and they will engage with you up until a point if you keep doing it the way you're doing it. And I'm giving you criticism.
I do
because
see that.
if you open up, then it's not going to be, again, a 10% lift. It's going to be exponentially higher when the people who are looking to your beauty tutorials love you as a person.
Right.
Why does Valeria have the scale that she does? Because she's a lovely person, but it's not enough to be a lovely person. It's then communicating who you are to your audience. And she does that effectively through comedic, lifestyle, all of these different things.
She's got great content.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying to you is from a tactical perspective, when you're creating your beauty tutorials, bring in your life.
I will.
Talk about your relationship.
Received. Okay.
Yeah. And when you do your fashion, that's another great opportunity. And that's when you'll really start seeing growth.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking, we started Creator Method based on my knowledge and my experience of not only at that time the 8 years of helping Valeria build her personal brand, but the 15 years before that in all sorts of media.
Okay.
Right. And about 7 months ago, I never had a plan to create my own content for my own page.
Right.
My plan was I'm going to continue to create content for the Creator Method page, which we are seeing growth there. And my credentials for people to come and join this community and look at our, participate in our curriculum and everything was me doing this with Valeria and helping Valeria get to this point through all of the business kind of stuff that I know.
Right.
But then about 7 months ago, I was like, you know what? Like, why don't I do this?
Yeah.
I've grown just for myself. I've almost doubled my audience in 7 months just by doing the things. So I'm not only talking to you about building like what Valeria's done, but even from my perspective, I feel strongly that you will double your, I don't like using follower counts as like a true definition of scale, but there is something to it. So if we're looking just at follower counts, I believe you can double your follower counts and probably triple or quadruple your trailing 30-day reach. When you look at like insights, the business insights, I believe you can do that within a 6 to 12 month period if you kind of engage in this. And then I'm telling you, you are going to be shocked. When I say shocked, you are going to be shocked when you start looking at how that translates to the bottom line of all things G Beauty.
I agree with you.
No, but when you experience it as a business owner, creator, to do these things that, again, it's like you feel like it's a trivial action, like what I did with this shirt and what you did at the mall.
Yeah.
You feel it's a trivial action, but I promise you, get consistent. Insert your personality into your tutorials. Insert your personality into your outfits.
Yeah.
You will double your follower count, quadruple your trailing 30-day reach. When you see I don't want to speculate as to the effect it'll have on your top line in terms of revenue, but you're going to be blown away. And I have a feeling you're going to contact me in 6 months and you're going to be like,
listen, I'm
holy
ready.
shit.
I
can't believe this just happened.
Okay.
Because now I'm seeing it with Creator Method because, as we
Yeah,
all know,
'cause
Creator
you-
Method's a business.
Yeah.
When I saw my audience grow, I'm
knew it's
seeing.
possible.
Well, I'm seeing. My data is very like. I'm looking at not only. I look at full funnel, so I'm looking at obviously Valeria's 30-day reach and her follower count. I'm looking at the Creator Method Instagram. I'm looking at my Instagram, and a lot of that is funneling to creatormethod.com, where we have our page about so people can learn more and apply.
Right.
And I'm seeing the number of people going to the site, the resulting number of people
Yeah.
who are applying, and then after they apply that into that whole funnel. And I'm talking to you as entrepreneurs because
Yeah, of course.
we look
Yeah.
at the same
No, I'm
similar
yeah.
data sets. And I'm telling you that this top of funnel approach, this silly thing I did when I'm sitting in the cold plunge and I film my wife talking to me about shoes, and what that did to our overall business is profound.
Yeah.
That's why you're sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah.
You just have to execute on it. Do you have any other questions for me, Natalie? We covered a lot.
Yeah,
and I'm
we
really
covered
happy.
a lot. No,
we dived
I
into
think
so
this
many
was-
cool things.
Yes, I think we got into some really cool things. No, I'm appreciative for it all. This is going to be a part of the story that will be very meaningful and worth telling more people.
Awesome.
So
I'm
thank
gonna
you
come
so
in.
much.
I'm gonna come in
I know
for my
we're gonna.
facial.
Yeah,
I'm doing
we're
it.
gonna, absolutely, we'd love
I'm
to
doing
have
it.
you.
It's just a short motorcycle ride across the bay.
Yes.
Awesome.
How is your motorcycles going, by the way?
Well, I have 3 now.
Yeah.
And I'm circling a 4th.
Great. Yeah. Listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The world is your oyster on,
Yes.
on those bikes.
I love it. You got to do things you enjoy too. You got to live.
Absolutely.
Natalie, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gary. That was
Thank
great.
you.